My dear friends, I welcome you to a new session with me, Girish. In today's session, we're going to focus on mental discipline, which is called Samadhi. And as I mentioned yesterday, we talked about three fundamentals in Buddhism. All right. And one of them was ethical conduct, which we discussed yesterday. The second one was mental discipline, which we're going to discuss today. And the third one was wisdom. All right. So today we're going to discuss about Samadhi, which is mental discipline. Now, the word samadha means to collect, to put together, to establish, or to make firm. But in our context, it means to absorb. Okay, to absorb, it's to develop a sort of one-pointed concentration. Okay, within the mind where we're fully focused on one thing, sensation or activity. If I try to relate that to the way Buddhist monks live, you will notice that when they're sweeping the floor, they're just sweeping the floor. When they're sitting to drink their tea, they're just drinking their tea. And if we take that kind of concentration, we try to implement it in our daily life. Let's say someone is talking to you, you would be a very active listener and you will be listening to the person talking to you. And that's all you would be doing. You wouldn't be checking your phone or checking who's around while the two of you are talking. You would be totally absorbed in that conversation. So it's about having the mind is in a certain mindset where when you're doing something, you're fully into it. All right, totally absorbed. And if you think about it, it's only when we are totally into the moment that we can actually make the best out of the moment. We can get the best results. We can be really productive. And we actually feel really alive when we're doing something and we're fully into it. So that's the kind of concentration we're discussing, all right? But it has a deeper meaning. In deep samadhi, we say that we are in a elevated state of mind where actually there is a moment where we no longer have an object and a subject. There's total immersion, and that's what we call oneness. That's why Samadhi is linked to oneness a lot of times. All right? Now, Samadhi is linked to three parts of the Eightfold Path. Okay? And the three parts are the right effort, the right mindfulness, and the right concentration. Okay? Even yesterday when we discussed about ethical conduct, we said that the ethical conduct was linked to three other parts of the Eightfold Path, which were right speech, right action, and right livelihood. That was for ethical conduct. Now, the meditative part, which is Samadhi, it's linked to right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. All right? Now, how do we develop that kind of mental discipline? Okay, there are actually three aspects in the training. Okay, in the Buddhist training, which helps you to develop that kind of meditative state. Okay, the first one is we first need to learn how to calm the mind. Okay, we can only calm the mind when we stop trying to control the mind. Okay, and we actually explore that in samatha meditation, where you stay in the present, you rest in the present, and you just become aware of your thoughts. What are the kind of things you're thinking? You just let them pop up without trying to understand your thoughts, without trying to judge your thoughts. You just stay there in the middle, and it's as if your thoughts are around you and moving around. So you stay in the middle, so you stay in the present moment, and the more you practice that kind of meditation where you stop judging your thoughts, you stop to get carried away by your thoughts, you develop a certain kind of detachment from your thoughts, and that's called samatha meditation. All right? And the more you practice it, that kind of meditation, you'll realize that the more you're going to become free from mental and emotional afflictions we have. Okay? So that's the first stage where we try to understand the mind and we practice meditation where we stay really grounded, we stay in the middle, and the thoughts just come across us and just come and go, and we don't try to have a grip on any thoughts and try to understand or try to judge. None of that. Okay, we just stay there present. So once we've reached a certain level in that kind of meditation practice, let's say, we start to explore the second phase, which is linked to the awakening of the mind, okay, which is linked to bodhicitta. Now, in this stage, you really observe, because now you have an understanding of how the mind works. So now you start to examine. Okay, you start to examine, you start to observe a bit more, because you're no longer trapped in your mind now. So now when you're going out, you're doing things, you will notice that you actually observe a lot. You ask yourself, you analyze, you say, why are people acting like this? Why are people losing a grip on their lives? Why are they being angry? Why are they being sad? Why are they trapped in that mental state? I mean, you're able to realize that and to see that because your mental state changed yourself. Before, you were not able to actually notice these things. Okay, so you start to observe more, you start to examine more, and you start to cultivate mindfulness because you're more into your activities, you're more aware about your thoughts, what you're doing, what you should not be doing. So you become more mindful about yourself. And the more we practice now, we start to talk about deep truth. When I'm talking about deep truth, I'm talking about like the truth of impermanence, okay? The truth of impermanence, which tells you that nothing is permanent. We are all born, we're going to die. Nothing stays, not happiness, neither sadness. Everything changes, okay? Everything changes. Nothing is permanent. Nothing stays. Your body gets old. Your friend, someone who you consider to be your friend, may turn into an enemy. An enemy may turn into a friend. It's a crazy world out there. That's why we say it's Maya. It's illusion, because everything changes. Okay, the way things are right now, it's just going to change the next day. I mean, think about it. Even your body changes every day. You've got like 3 billion cells which die every day and get replaced by new cells. So even you as a person, you change the whole time. So how can you be holding on to beliefs, or you say, I'm like this, and that's my personality? That's all nonsense. That doesn't exist, because everything changes. I mean, you've been the same person for, let's say, 3 years because you actually held on to beliefs, held on to certain habits. That's why you stayed the same. But everything changes. Okay? And that's the law, not the law, but that's the truth of impermanence. And then you have another truth, which is suffering, which we explored in the Four Noble Truths. I mean, suffering is part of life. People are going to cheat on you. People are going to backstab you. We're going to get sick. Nothing will come easy. We'll need to work for things. So nothing comes easy. Life is suffering. Okay? So we just need to accept it. It's like one of the big truths. And then we have the notion of non-existence. Okay, because if you dig deep once again, you'll realize that everything you believe you are, it's made up. Whatever you think, whatever your belief system is, it's been taught to you, maybe by your upbringing, by your parents, by the education you received. Everything you think is you is actually made up. All right, so the self, as you understand it, is made up. It doesn't exist. Okay, so we start to talk about these things, and the more we dig, the more we analyze, the more we cultivate mindfulness, we start to develop a certain lucidity. We start to transcend certain mental fixations. I mean, things we believed were true are no longer true now, because we can actually see beyond these beliefs, beyond these thoughts. So we become free from beliefs. Okay, and that's really another level of existence, if I can put it that way. Okay, so that's the let's say the second stage of developing meditative concentration. The third stage is actually going beyond these two now. So what can actually be deeper than what I've just told you? There is another stage, in fact, okay? And in the other stage, there's only the pure motivation to always help. Always do things for others. So you always do things which benefit others, all right? There's loving kindness, compassion for all sentient beings without exception. Okay, so you always help. Even if your enemy comes in front of you, you will be helping that enemy. And if I look at my own experiences, there are many people who caused harm to me before, but when they actually came and asked for help for certain things where they were struggling in their life, I actually did help them. So that's the kind of challenge you actually face when you are actually walking the path. Okay, it doesn't come easy. It's a lot of hard work on yourself, on your habits, on what you think your beliefs are. It's actually going beyond all those things. All right. So the pure motivation, I mean, living just for helping others. If you're actually doing that with the right intent, because your intent is just helping, you're not expecting to have something back. If that's really your intent, you're actually practicing the meditative concentration in real life. Okay. Now, if we try to sum up what meditation is now, what having a meditative mindset is, what mental discipline is, it's not just sitting in a corner and meditating. All right. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of people think that meditation is there. When you get stressed, you go sit in a corner, you meditate, you're refreshed, and then you get on with the work. I mean, that's a simplistic way of looking at it. But if you look at meditation or mental discipline from a broader perspective, it's about being calm. So you take care of yourself first by calming your mind, understanding your mind, which was about Samatha meditation. You need to have the right motivation. Why are you meditating? Why are you sitting and meditating every day? Is it to just increase your productivity and reinforce the ego again and try to get more things for yourself? That's not the right intent. Okay? So the right motivation in the practice is very important. The only motivation, if you want, okay, because you need motivation to actually do something, otherwise you wouldn't do anything. So the right motivation in the practice would be actually to discover yourself. That has been one of my own motivations. Why do I meditate? Is to discover myself, discover the layers buried in the subconscious which have been disturbing me for a long time. So that's my motivation, to get deep into myself and try to understand myself. So my motivation is to actually discover myself more and actually share whatever I discover to you people. All right? So that becomes the foundation of the practice. So if you really want to sum up what is full meditation, like the true essence of it is to be really calm, to be insightful in your life, okay, to really solve problems instead of creating problems for people, to contribute to peace in your surroundings, in your family, and then have a broader aspect to contributing for peace in the society, in the world. Okay, so you should cultivate calmness, insight, and you'll be more insightful when you develop more mindful living and awareness. All right. And you always need to check what your motivation is. Do you have the right motivation? Because if you do, then you can actually go further into the practice. Then you will actually understand the deep truth we have in spirituality. Otherwise, if you are doing all of that just to benefit yourself, then you're going to fall short. You won't be able to actually discover the deep truth of existence. All right, my friends. So I hope that you found it interesting. Till next time. Bye-bye. Lots of love, Girish.